G'day guys, welcome back to another cook up. Today I have for you a stir fry and steak cook up. So this is what I like to do when I go out camping, whether it be backpacking or when you go motorbike riding or caravan. This is a real simple dish to do. Anyone can do it. You can mix things up a little bit. There's no real specific ingredients to this, so anything you can find in the fridge you can do here. So I've had some water on the boil. That's the first part of the process of this cook up today. So what we're going to do is take that off the heat. We don't need that just yet, so I'll put that down there. But what I want to do is get some heat onto my frying pan. So this is a dish that I got from Aldi. It's pretty lightweight steel, really good for this particular cook up because it's non-stick, which is what you really want for the vegetables and also the steak. And I like it because it's got this base on the bottom. So once you put it on the heat, that block of steel heats up and you get good heat in there. So I'll put that on there now, get a little bit of heat into it, because obviously a steak stir fry consists of a steak, which is one Scotch fillet, and some veggies. So we'll just put those over there for the minute, and we'll get back to what I said about the hot water. Now, the reason why I boiled some water is because I'm going to be using one of these today, which you've all eaten before, and thousands of them get eaten every day by people taking them to work or taking them on motorbike trips or camp trips and backpacking trips. So what I want to do is just open it up half and get those satchels out, and don't throw them away because we're going to do something with those. Now this particular one, that's the little sachet that I think is like dehydrated carrot or something. So we won't throw it away, we will use it. That can go in now. And I'll try and pour this hot water in without burning myself. All the way to the top, because as you know, when you eat these things, the 2-minute noodles, and you leave it in there, those noodles will absorb a lot of that water, and by the time I go back to that when I'm ready, you'll find that it's expanded, and you know the deal, you've used it before. But for now, do not need it. Put it to the side. Hot water, no longer required. So, getting back to the next stage of the dish, I think you'll all agree that when you don't have refrigeration and you go on a hike, a motorbike ride, and you're staying over for the night and you don't have refrigeration, I find every time I go on one of these outings, the choice of meat is a steak, because you can have it frozen from the freezer in the morning, walk around with it all day in your backpack or riding around with your panniers, and at the end of the day at night time when you want to eat, it may be still a little bit frozen, or it's defrosted enough that nothing's going to happen to the meat, and it'll be fine to eat, and you're not going to get any sickness and have a bad night with stomach cramps and all that other stuff. So I've got this on the heat. We'll let him heat up a bit more. Actually, I think I can give it a little bit of extra gas, so we'll do that. Now again, up to you how you want to cook your steak. I kind of like mine a little more well done. I don't like it bleeding. But just with the steak, you might notice there that you've got like a little bit of fat sinew, just so when you put the steak onto the hot pan, you want this to cook flat, so you don't want any raised edges. So what I normally do is just cut that with a knife, and it just cuts that bit of fat away from it, and there's a little bit here too. Just cut that away. So now what I want it to do is when I put it on there, it's not going to get a raised area and it will all cook evenly. So what we do is season, salt and pepper. Do the other side. pat it down. Brush off the old hands. Now, I've got some lovely olive oil there that I'm going to use today. Canola, vegetable, any cooking oil you can find is fine. This is just the healthier option. I'll get a bit of heat into the oil. We'll be using that again later. So, what we can do is, I don't have a spatula, so I'll use my spoon. Spread that around a little bit. It won't melt. At least I hope not. No, it's fine. So, I'm just waiting for that to get a bit hotter. So what I'll do is, while I'm waiting, I'm going to give that another 5 minutes. I don't expect you to hang around and wait for this to heat up because it is got a thick base in it. I'll come back to you shortly. Okay, welcome back. I reckon we've got enough heat in there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the steak in the centre because that's where mainly all the heat will be. So as you can see, it's got a little bit of a sizzle. Probably would have liked a lot more. Maybe I needed to let it heat up a bit longer. Let's have a look at what heat we've got there. It doesn't matter, we're not in no hurry. I'm going to put that on because it's not going to cook real quick. We want some veggies. So these are veggies I bought this morning just at the supermarket. It was a mixed bag already prepared. I think it was about $4. It was probably twice the size of that. I'm making a meal for one today, so I've halved that bag, put it in my own snap lock bag, and the other stuff I'll use another day. But various veggies in here, as you'll see. All the stuff to keep you healthy. Put it all on, Mark. So, we'll have that cook up like so. As you can see, this particular plate that I'm using is quite handy for exactly this type of cook up. And don't throw your snap lock bags away because you might need them again. So while that's doing that, I also want to introduce another element to this dinner. It's not something I usually eat, but it's just something I've started getting into, and I find it pretty nice, so I'll add it to the meal. Get yourself a nice wet cloth. So, I don't know if you've eaten this before, you're a big fan of it. It's halloumi cheese. I'm not going to put the whole block on. So you'll notice that I had the bought packaging already in another snap lock bag. Now it's something I would do obviously if you're going away for the night, because I'm going to cut that packaging open now. I'm not going to use the whole lot. If I was doing a two-nighter, then I've got packaging to save for the next morning, next evening, whenever it is you decide to do a cook-up again. So, this is pretty good, this cheese. It is refrigerated in the refrigeration aisle, but I think it lasts. I've never got cooked from it, so we'll cut a little bit off there. So I think what I'll do is I'll slice like so. Whack it on. Goes really, really well on a grill barbecue, this, and you get the lines in it. So if you're having a barbecue or something with the lines and everything in it, give it a whirl. I mightn't even use that because I don't want to overpower it. So as I said, back in there, close her up, put it back in your snap lock bag, and you're good to go again another day, or later on. Like this is going to be lunch today, you might eat it for dinner later on in the day, so up to you. Put that over there for now. Now there's something else I want to do. while that's cooking away there, the old border white down again. 2 more ingredients, get that off there. So, I've bought some nuts, cashews, inside. So, as I said in a couple of other my videos, I'm trying to get myself doing a little bit more Asian orientated meals because I'm not good at them, and just trying some different things there. So we'll give them a little bit of a chop. And they too can go on the plate and get some warmth and some colour. Now, it wouldn't be an Asian inspired dish if it didn't have some of these fellas. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off most of the white bits. And whack those in there because they're actually going to give the dish a lot of flavour. And what we're going to do then is the rest of it, we're going to chop that up while we're on the job, nice and thin. And we're going to put that aside, and right at the very end when I serve this dish up, we're going to turn this into a little bit of a garnish on top. Why wouldn't you? So there we go. That's chopped up, put in like that. Now, all there is to do is I'm going to turn this a little bit. Because we are going to add some other bits and pieces to this. And I'll talk to you about that in a minute when I do it. But right now, I'm just going to give this a turn. I'll give the cheese a turn a bit later on, probably when I turn the steak. So for now, obviously this is going to be a little bit slow. I'm going to go away again, get some colour into this, and when I'm about to turn the steak, I'll turn the cheese. If we've got the right colour in the veggies and we're well on the way, we'll go to the next step. I'll come back to you. Alright, let's give this steak a turn and see what she's like. Beautiful. Now this has already been probably cooking around 5 minutes since we last chatted. So remember, veggies, cook them longer if you like them softer, but generally if you go into a restaurant or something like that, vegetables usually still consist of a little bit of crunch if they're done how they do them in a restaurant. So, but you do it how you like. But as you can see, that halloumi cheese has got some real nice colour now. Try to get that other one in a bit closer. So, the plan of attack is keep going with this, get that other side of the steak looking like the top, and then I'll come back to you and we'll go on with the next part of the dish. And we're back. I think we'll pull this bad boy off now. So what we do is we transfer him over to there. We'll get back to him. Now we'll go back to our 2-minute noodles. So what we're going to do is put that stuff over there and we're going to drain out the water. So when I take the lid, I don't rip it right off because now I can drain the water without losing too much of the goodies. We need to get as much of that water out as possible. So as you can see, as it goes, now a little bit's not going to matter because it's only going to moisten up the dish. Now really, you know, this could be a two-person feed. Now we remove that. I'll get rid of that later. I'm not going to put that all in because I think it's going to be too much for what I want. So I'll cut away some of it. So like, you could easily have 2 steaks here, and you make it at a steak, and you could both probably eat from this. So I'm not going to put the whole lot in because I don't want to overpower it. Now, a couple of things we need to do. One, we need to start mixing all this in together a little bit. Oh look, I'll put it in. I made it. It's a bit more than the missus will have some. Not much more. So you're not really cooking the noodles so they have to get all crispy and brown because they're already cooked. They've been soaking in the water. So now we just want to mix in the vegetables so that all gets mixed around. It's already hot because it's been sitting in hot water. Now, there's a couple of little things I like to do. If you can get them, sometimes they're at the surveys, the little soy sauce satchels. Otherwise, do what I've done here and put a little bit of sauce in this one. So first, not much. That just adds to a little bit of the salt content. So a little bit of soy sauce. Not a lot. And you're not getting a lot out of those sachets anyway. And it's the same with this one. What I've done is I've put a little bit of oyster sauce in there, and that's the star of this dish. And again, not a lot, because it'll just overpower it. So you can do this to your taste. If you like a bit more, do it, but it is pretty strong. And you can kind of see with the colour too. So, still cooking away. Beautiful. Now, I said to you earlier on, don't chuck away the chicken satchel out of the 2-minute noodles. Now, I don't usually eat beef noodles because the chicken ones are my favourite, but the beef one would be satisfactory for this, being steak, being beef. It's a match made in heaven, so you just choose which one you want. But again, don't use all of it. Just season it enough to give it that little bit of taste. And then you can save the rest for something else later on if you want. Or you can just discard it. So, time to cook. Cut the steak. And as I said, I don't like blood running out of mine, so you cook your steak how you like it and then add it in. Now make sure my table doesn't go over. So it's a pretty big meal, as you can see. And then I'll cut acrossways. Just to make him, you want them in bite-sized pieces, you know. You don't want it such big bits that you can't swallow them or get them all in your mouth in one hit. And now that I've done that, I think I might add a little bit more of this oyster sauce just on the meat. So that little jar is probably a very good portion size. Safeway, Woolworths. And you put a little bit of sesame seeds on. And we mix after we wipe our hands because we've got oyster sauce on them and it's sticky. So I shall grab that because the end will be hot and I don't want to lose my plate after doing all this effort. There you go, guys. Looking alright to me. And last but not least, wouldn't be Asian dish without these. I think I can turn off our little burner now and plate up. Starting to make a mess. So, I'll give him a wipe, put him over there. Give that a bit of a wipe, straight on the concrete. Why not? Getting a bit dirty now. Get rid of some of the rubbish. If you're interested in the oyster sauce that I used, I just used the Maggi one, using a Maggi 2-minute noodle cup. I like the Maggi products. I mean, obviously, I gotta pay for all my stuff. I just find their stuff really good. Use whatever you want. There's plenty of Asian ones and different ones. No problem. So tell me, that doesn't look like a pretty good feed. Actually, if I can pick that up, I will. So easily, probably get 2 feeds out of that, I'd say. And that was 1 steak. So, burners off, we clean, get rid of those ingredients, and we taste. Absolutely beautiful. Very nice flavours. You can just taste the soy and a little bit of the oyster sauce, not overpowering. Steak and the veggies, to my liking. I like a little bit of a crust on the outside, and I don't want it being browned in the middle. Yeah, real happy. Halloumi, and I think the cheese just lifts it that little bit. But you come into this at a lunch or of a night time, you're having a really good feed that's good for you, and you just saw how simple that was. So until next time, see you on Holmesy's Camp Cooking.